There's one question that savvy investors have about every startup that they meet with. Yet this question rarely gets directly asked. Making matters worse for startup CEOs is that typically most startup CEOs are afraid to answer the question. So what happens is the question never gets asked. Investors are left to their own devices, and many times this results in you not getting an investment. I've raised over $100 million in venture capital and private equity funding, and I've helped startup CEOs like you raise rounds of between $50,000 and $150 million. I've been around a lot of fundraisings. I know what works and I know what doesn't work. In today's video, I'll explain exactly what this mystery slide is and how it can help you get an investment. If you're not already a subscriber to my channel, then hit that subscribe button right now, and you'll get notified every time I release a new video. Okay, now the question you need to answer in this slide is going to sound wrong. In fact, you're likely to think this makes no sense to put this in a slide deck because it's so revealing. Yet that's what makes it so powerful. So now, what is that question? Drum roll, please. The question is, why is your startup going to fail? Okay, now let me start by explaining why this question is so powerful and why it works so well. Let me start because it's kind of obvious. Put yourself in investor's shoes. All investors develop a hypothesis about why a company is going to win, and smart investors, and most investors are pretty smart, they're going to develop a hypothesis of why this investment might fail because they want to push and pull on the weaknesses of an investment as well. Every company has weaknesses, including yours. And you want to tell people, here where the weaknesses are, and here's what we're doing about fixing these weaknesses. That's what makes this so powerful, because if you address it, rather than your investors going off on their own without the question being addressed or trying to pick it apart based on certain things that you might have said or questions that you might have answered, they may come to the wrong conclusion. And when they come to the wrong conclusion, you know what happens usually? You don't get an investment. Now, the second reason that this question is so powerful is forget about investors. Let's just forget they even exist. Asking you and your team, why are we going to fail? What's going to kill us? What's our kryptonite? What is it? And knowing the answer to these questions regardless, because remember, you're running a company and we want our company to win. So regardless of pitching, regardless of raising money, being analytical about yourself and your company and where the weaknesses are and figuring out how to shore up those weaknesses so they don't kill you is pretty smart. That's the second thing about asking yourself this question is it's not just for investors, it's for you in terms of how to make your company better and improve it and improve your chances of winning. Because remember, that's what we're in this for. We want to win, right? We're going to get money. Somehow or other, we're going to survive and we want to win. Knowing where your weaknesses are, not ignoring your weaknesses is pretty damn smart. Now, let me tell you a quick story since we're on this right now. And the quick story is about a company I worked at years ago. And the CEO didn't want to know what his weaknesses are. Now, I'm not going to tell you the company name. The company eventually died and was bought because the CEO refused to look at the weaknesses of the company. I remember early on when I was working for the CEO, I gave him a State of the Union on the division I was running. And I walked through all the issues. And I was used to working for a really tough, smart guy, this fellow named Jack Gifford, who was the founder and CEO of Maxim Integrated Products. And Jack wanted to know the problems. This other CEO, we'll call him Bob, didn't want to know the problems. And it was really a surprise to me because I thought the company had the potential to be a billion-dollar company. We're at about $200 million in revenue at the time. The company looked poised to be a billion-dollar revenue company. So I started walking through all these issues. And Bob got so angry that he looked at me, straightened his tie, which tells you how long ago this is. And he said to me, you know what? I never want to have another meeting like this again. And he walked out the door. And you know what? We never did. And a few years later, after I turned the division around and made it the most successful division in the company, the most profitable division in the company, he fired me. Just for my happiness, or whatever you want to call it. He just threw me out the door and he fired me because he didn't like what I was about. And he didn't like the fact that I told him that there was mistakes and problems. So what's the moral here? You don't want to be Bob. Be smarter than that. That's the moral of this story. Now, if this content is resonating with you, then hit that like button right now. Now, the third benefit of putting this slide in your deck, the third benefit of doing this slide, is that it shows your transparency to investors. Now, transparency is a great thing when you're working with investors because you're trying to build a relationship with investors. And relationships are built on trust. So if you show investors that you're transparent, you're honest, you're open, and you're willing to be criticized, and that you can take the criticism and you know where your weaknesses are and you're working on improving them, man, that can only help you. It really, really is helpful to do this, whether you believe it or not, because it's so helpful to know if you're on the other side of this. Hey, they're aware of where the problems are. They explain them really well. They told me as an investor exactly how they're going to fix these problems and how they're going to address them so they won't be issues. Boy, I feel really comfortable with this company. That's what you want. I'll tell you one other story, and I think I've told this story before in other videos in my writing, but when I was an entrepreneur in residence at a venture capital fund up in San Francisco, a company came in and they were so transparent about the competition. And they told us about companies that we didn't know about in our research on the company. And when we debriefed right after the pitch that they made to the partnership, the managing partner of the fund, Mike, looked at all of us and he said, you know what? They told us about companies we didn't know existed. And you know what happened? That's right. They got an investment. Transparency works. Being honest works. Everybody knows there are issues with your company. Addressing them builds confidence, builds trust in you. That's why it's such a great thing to do. Now, let me wrap up with one final thought. If it's too scary to put the slide in for you, don't do it. It's okay. But demand of yourself doing the work, doing the research, and understanding your faults, understanding your weaknesses, not for investors, but for you. It's only going to help you, and it's going to help you answer their questions as well. So at least do the work. If you're too afraid to put the slide in, I totally get it. It's a scary thing to do. Most people don't, but do the work at least, please. What did you learn from today's video? Put it in the comments column below today's video right now. And let me know exactly what you learned, what you liked about today's video. That would be super. Also, if you have some ideas for future videos, put that in the comments column below too. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Now, I've got one more thing for you today. I've got a free startup pitch deck template. It has all the slides that you need to put together a great pitch. All you need to do is just follow along, and all the slides are right there for you, including a notes section below each slide telling you what to put in each slide as well. All you have to do to get this free pitch deck template is click the link below this video and it's yours for free. Now, to get more great content from me, hit that subscribe button right now. You can do that, or just wait until the end of this video and more great content is going to pop up for you right at the end. All you have to do is just click the video that you like and it's there for you. I've really enjoyed speaking with you today. My name is Brett at brettjfox.com. Have a great, great day. Thanks a lot. Take care.